On this episode of the Fran Lover Show, we rocking with the legend, the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? You hear the scratches in the back. Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, Afros, my man, DJ Hurricane, right here. What up, what up, what up? This your boy, Fran Lover.
Word.
I got special guests in the house, my man, DJ Hurricane in the building. What's good, baby?
Yeah. Fran, what up? What's up?
Hey, ain't nothing but thanks for coming through. Well, actually, thanks for letting me come through here, the Hurricane, a.k.a. Jay's hat.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I'm here repping with the Queens legend, Hollis Queens, you know what I mean? My man, DJ Hurricane. So what up, kid?
Hey, you know, I'm Lamadosa, Macadosa, Kahugnadosa to the whole drop of Donium.
No doubt, no doubt. For those that don't understand that was Afro talk.
Yeah. Got my own lingo.
You know what I mean? Old lingo like E40, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So anyway, tell everybody, I mean, for those that don't know, all the new viewers or whatever, how did you get started in the game from the beginning?
Wow. From the beginning, let's see, I was an MC. I used to listen to tapes from Furious 5. Mm-hmm. And as far as DJing, my sister used to DJ.
Or?
We had DJ equipment in the house.
What was her DJ name?
Her name was Pat. And her boyfriend name was D, so they was NYPD.
Wow.
And everybody from Hollis used to come to my house. This was when I was a kid to party because my sister and her boyfriend was the DJs. Mm-hmm. So, but you know, she didn't scratch anything, but she DJ'd. Mm-hmm. You know, so this is before I even had flash in them tapes. She was a DJ. So, you know, I started learning how to DJ by watching her pretty much. She wouldn't let me get on it too much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Plus she had this big, ugly mixer. It was about this big. So when I started listening to flash in them tapes, I started hearing people scratch, break beats, and it caught my ear. So I said, damn, I like this. Mm-hmm. So I started writing down their rhymes so I can learn how to rhyme. Mm-hmm. And after I learned how to flow, and I started writing my own rhymes. In the meantime, I needed a DJ. So I met this guy named Tommy T, who was the brother of Davey D.
Okay.
Davey D was the only guy in Hollis at the time that had like all the break beats, that knew how to scratch and everything. So I met Tommy. We went down to Dave's house, me and my man Cool T, another kid named Butterfly. We went down to Dave's house and we started rapping for Dave, and Dave was scratching, and boom, next thing you know, we formed Solo Sounds.
Dope. What year was that?
That was like the late 70s.
Okay, like before or after Rapper's Delight?
That was before Rapper's Delight.
Okay, what was the first rap record you heard?
The first rap record I heard, well, was probably like Jimmy Castor Bunch. You know, those guys had little raps in between their rhymes. I mean, in between their songs. You know, and they used to like rap a little bit. So that was the first time I ever heard somebody rap, but he wasn't like MCing. The Birth of Bud Boogie album, Birth of Bud Boogie, no question. Bum, 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 bum.
Okay.
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 You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So on that album had a couple of joints on there that he was actually kind of rapping.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well, the first rap record I heard was King Tim III.
Oh, okay.
The little break part on there.
Right.
To the way.
Right,
Just
right.
keep the same.
Yeah.
And then after that, I heard Rappers Delight right after that.
Okay, gotcha.
Right after that.
Yeah.
So, but then the crazy part.
I mean, I like the King joint, but I wasn't crazy about it.
That was the first time I heard somebody rap, though.
You know, the first time you heard somebody rap?
First time I heard somebody rap.
Oh, wow, okay.
That was my first rap record. But before that, as I did the history, I heard, Pig Meat, Here Comes the Judge.
Right.
He was rapping.
Yeah, I mean.
And that was in the 60s.
Before Rappers Delight and King T Dirt, they was actually rapping too, but they just didn't do it over the way that it was created on hip hop.
So coming up in Hollis, all right, so you start off, so this is during your high school years that you was seeing your sister DJ and all that stuff like that?
Yeah, that was like, well, my sister was DJing. I was like junior high school.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And what high school you attended out there in Queens?
Andrew Jackson, the worst high school probably in the history of Queens.
Oh, wow.
You was getting your chin checked in the AM. Chin check time. Can't come to the lunchroom.
Wow. So transforming from that, transitioning out of high school, how did you first get started with the whole, after you finished DJing, you was MCing first before you became a DJ?
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So how did you transition from MCing and then going into DJing?
When I met Davey, I used to watch Davey scratch. You know, he had the first time I seen actually scratch the record. So he didn't teach me how to scratch. I was pretty good at just looking and learning. So when I was seeing him scratch, you know, I was able to figure out how to scratch. So that's how I began. I already knew how to DJ a little bit from watching my sister, so I was able to learn how to blend watching her and then learn how to scratch watching Davey. So I transitioned to DJing, but at the same time, I was still writing rhymes as well.
Okay.
You know, I still got my rhyme book downstairs that's dated, like 1015 78 or 1015
Wow.
79. All of them is dated. I still got the book this thick.
You remember any of the rhymes?
Yeah, I remember some of them. I got a whole book though.
We might get a 16, y'all, or 8. You never know. They were short rhymes back in the days.
Yeah.
But you had like 4 or 5 verses.
Oh yeah.
They was going off. So did you do any park jams while you was an MC?
Yeah, we used to tear the parks up. Solo Sounds, we used to go, because we was the only ones back then that really knew how to, we had the whole package.
Okay.
You know, you had Infinity Machine, you had Master Sound, but those guys just had like, you know, good DJs. They didn't have like the break beats and they didn't have the DJ to go off while the MCs was actually doing routines.
Okay.
So we was the ones with the routines. You know what I mean? So you had Master Sounds, Ed Love and them had their crew. And what happened was Curtis Blow used to come to Queens with Russell. It was a night spot called Night Fever on 21st and Hollis, and Curtis Blow had seen Solo Sounds rock. And at the time, Run used to run with Curtis because Run was a solo artist, and he used to DJ for Curtis. But Run broke his arm when Curtis was about to go on the road. Curtis had just got his first single. So when Run broke his arm, he couldn't go. So then Curtis asked Davey D to be his DJ. And once Davey went on the road with Kurt, that kind of broke up Solo Sounds for a while.
Wow.
So then, when that happened, you know, I was kind of like on my own, me and my other MCs.
Right.
That's how that transition happened.
So the whole crew name was Solo Sounds?
Yeah.
Okay. Who was some of the members in the group?
Davey, myself, Cool T from the Afros, MC named Butterfly who passed back then, somebody named Tough Ski, Tommy T, DJ Guard from the Bronx, Mark, the 45 King.
Wow.
We actually found Mark on 212th and Hollis. I went to Mark's house and went up to his room, and he had these 2 little turntables, and he was spinning 45s. I had never seen nobody spin 45s back.
Right.
And he was spinning 45s, so I was learning something again. Like, damn, this dude had this little turntable spinning 45s real hard.
What kind of turntable? Like Fisher Price joints?
Yo,
Something crazy?
yeah, it was something crazy. I can't remember the name of it, but it was crazy. And then Mark started coming around doing our shows and started getting on the turntables as well. So, you know, Mark was down for a little bit, then Mark branched out on his own. A lot of people don't know that story.
That's what's up. And
Yeah.
you hearing it here first. You know what I mean? So, all right, so how did you get from that to the whole Run DMC era?
Well, the Run DMC era, me and Jay was always friends back then. You know, I knew Run through passing, didn't hang out a lot with Run, knew DMC as well through passing for being on Hollis, but neither one of them really hung like on the block, and
Right.
you know, and did the crazy stuff. So, but me and Jay, we ran back together from junior high school to high school. So when Run DMC was gonna go on tour, you know, Jay came by my house, which is when I moved to Corona, Queens, and he asked me to come on tour with him. I was like, "What you want me to come on tour for?" I said, "You the DJ, you got the MC." He said, "Nah, I need you to come hold me down. Come hold me down. Just come hang out. Boom, boom, you know." So then I went on tour with them on the Raising Hell tour. And during the Raising Hell tour, the way I transitioned to the Beastie Boys was in the middle of the tour, they didn't have a DJ. They had Dr. Dre from MTV Raps, but he had to leave in the middle of the tour, and they were stuck without a DJ basically. And they found out through Jay and through Russell that, yo, Hurricane know how to DJ. Ask Hurricane. Then they came to the dressing room. They was looking all sad, like, yo, okay, could you DJ? You know. Back then I was a little intimidating dude, so they really didn't know how to go about it.
Right.
And, you know, I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, well, it's cool. You know, they cool. They need the help. Let me go ahead and help them out.
Right.
So I did that, and then after that, you know, License to Ill came out later on that year. And next thing you know, I was on the License to Ill tour with them.
Dope.
And then from there, it just kept going. Then at the same time, I started writing the Davies Ride album with Davey D, which came out in '88. I started writing that rhymes for that, and doing that with Dave. So then right after the License to Ill tour, we did the Together Forever tour, which was Run DMC, Beastie Boys, and Davey D. So now I'm on stage 3 times in one tour.
Dope.
So
Dope.
I'm on stage with all 3 acts. So I should be tired, like.
Yeah, but the shine you was getting.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man.
Other people, they kill for that kind of shine.
It's crazy.
So that's ill. So then, did you wind up producing any records for the Beastie Boys?
Well, I was more into helping them write their lyrics.
Oh,
A couple of songs.
sounds like Jay.
Yeah, a couple of songs. I was able to come up with some good choruses and stuff like that. They was really pretty good at making their own beats. Because they used to do a lot of record shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to record shop, so they had.
Digging.
I mean, I learned a lot from them from digging.
Right.
Well, listening to their beats.
Right. Talk to me about your solo albums. How did that come about?
The first album was The Horror. It was right after the Afros album. I did the Afro album in 90, 91. We did that. Then I connected back with the Beastie Boys, and they started their own label called Grand Royal. So, of course, they already knew I knew how to rap by,
Right, helping them out, right.
And they said, yo, Ken, you should do a solo album. I was like, yo, I was going to say that anyway. So then I started doing the solo album, The Horror. I produced it with my man Mario C., who also produced a lot of Beastie Boy albums. Me and him produced it together. I got B-Real Sindor from Cypress Hills. I got MC Breed, rest in peace. My man Taba from L.A., I started grabbing a couple of friends, come in and do some features. Did a song called Elbow Room, which was a really big underground hip hop record.
Word? Okay.
It was huge. Especially overseas. It was really big overseas. So I wound up going on tour with the Horror album, and this time I was opening up for the Beastie Boys and still DJing for the Beastie Boys.
Wow.
At the same time.
Wow. So who was DJing
All
for
around
you?
the world. I had my guy Swift C, a.k.a. Lucky Calhoun from ATL.
Okay.
Him and Paulie. I brought both of them out on the road with me, and I had Swift DJ and I had Paulie as my hype guy.
Crazy. See, I never knew that because I know Lucky, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I never knew that y'all went back that far.
Yeah. When I first moved to
dope.
Atlanta, I connected with him. We had good vibes. So
Dope.
I was like, yo, you want to come on the road? He had never been on tour. So he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you know how to DJ. This is what I need. And he was like, yo, cool. So I wound up taking them all around the world. So
Wow. Dope. And so let's go back to, because you just mentioned you breezed through the Afros, but that's what a lot of my generation know
Right.
you from, the Afros. How did that come about? And y'all put that on Jam Master Jay's label.
yeah, that came on Jay's label, and Russell and those guys gave him a record deal. The Afros is pretty much the Hollis crew undercover. We came up with the name the Afros because, we was into like the 70s and the Afros and the way people wear the Afros. So we had already said, yo, let's just come out with a group called the Afros. But we had heard there was a group, not a group, but they had did something on Hollywood movie called Hollywood Shuffle called the Afros. So we decided to put some of that into it. As well as the name, so that's how we came up with the whole concept.
So was y'all just bugging out in the crib and saying, yo, we should come up with the Afros? Like, how did that come about? Like,
yeah, it was pretty much, we was all
drinking 40s, what was going on?
You said it all. We was drinking 40s, smoking a little bit, messing around, and we just said, yo, because at first we was going to be called the Untouchables. That was going to be the name at first.
Right.
But then, one night we was drinking and having fun. We was like, yo, we just be called the Afros. He's like, bet, all right, cool, let's do it. And everybody liked it. Shot the video. Ice Cube was in the video. Ed Lover. Everybody. Showed
I
mad
remember
love.
that.
It was
I remember
crazy.
that. And I guess I got to thank you for that, too, because I think I was telling you about the whole situation with me and Jam Master Jay with me having a contract with JMJ. So the way I met Jam Master Jay was I was working at EMI, which was in the same building as JMJ label. So we had a group, me, my boy Spider-Man that did Poison for BBD and all that stuff. We was in a group together. But we don't rap. We just producers.
Oh, okay.
So we call ourselves the non-MCs.
Oh.
And Jay loved it. He was like, yo, this is crazy. So we had a joint called No. It was like, we got no Cristal, no Moet, no Lexus in the driveway, no Brigettes.
Wow.
So Jay heard that joint, was like, yo, I want to give y'all a single deal or something. So we had the little contract. I don't even know what ever happened after, but I got to find that contract for you. But that's how I met Jay, because we was in the same building. So we was in the same building. EMI, Def Squad was right next to us. Bernard Alexander, all of them. Eric Sermon. I was doing street promotion at EMI. through my man Sean B, and that's how I met Jam Master Jay. You know,
Wow.
We actually went to the crib in Queens, right by the little road before you get to that little dead end, whatever you call that little swamp road. So that's how I met Jay.
What year was that?
I don't even know, man. It had to been
I'm like 91,
90 something.
92, something like
Nah,
that.
it had to be a little later than 90. It was 90 something.
Okay.
But probably towards the end.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
towards the end of the 90s or something
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
okay.
Something like that. But that's when we was in I want to say like 96, 97. That's what I want to say. I'm not exactly sure, but I gotta find that contract and show it to you. But that's the record we had. And y'all gonna hear that record here in the background.
I
right?
want to hear it now. I wish I had it in stash right here.
Yeah. I get it for you. I get it for you.
need to
I
get
got it
it.
on my hard drive. I get it to you.
Send it to me, MP3.
Yeah, definitely. But so let's talk about how'd you get started with doing the whole hurricane thing? Like, what made you do that and reinvent yourself in this time now, 2015?
Well, one day I was in the house, and I had got a phone call from this club, aka promoter. He wanted me to come, which I DJ'd. I'm like, okay, cool. What's your budget? And he was like, well, the guy I got here now is getting like $250. So I'm looking at the phone like, is
it
about to
broke?
offer me $250? So I was like, okay. I said, well, yo, that's way out of my range.
Right.
You know, so I hung the phone up. So then, you know, I started thinking like, you know what? Some of these promoters and clubs, obviously these DJs are getting, hip-hop DJs are getting, accepting pennies.
You're getting jerked.
So I say, I'd rather DJ in my house before I go and DJ in a club and play some music that I probably don't even like. So I said, let me just stay in my house, create something in my house that I feel is good. So I'm in the house. I'm thinking about, man, I should just record myself performing or something. And then I had Dana Dane was here. And when Dana was here, I had just moved in the house and I didn't have everything set up. But I was thinking of the idea when Dana was here. I was like, damn, I had it set up. I can just pull out the phone and me and Dana can just rock. So then Greg Nice came over. All unplanned. And I was like, yo, Greg, why don't we just shoot it? I got the phone. Boom. You just start rocking. We start rocking. Just phone, you know, shoot it and put it up. He said, all right, cool. So we start rocking, and Greg said, hold up, Kane, why don't you let me just come up the steps? I was like, all right, cool, just come up the steps. So then he came up the steps, and we just rocking, and I put it out, and everybody started liking it. So then after that, people always coming over anyway. After that, you know, Faith Evans popped up, 8 Ball, MAG popped up, Carl Payne popped up, Chuck D, and it just started building from there. And the next thing you know, I have a platform. So then one of my friends named Jesse Itzler, who owns the Hawks, which I've known him for a while, through Jay as well.
Okay.
And he called me. He shot me an email and said, yo, Kane, I really like what you're doing with the Hurricane. I was like, all right, cool. Thank you. So then, during the Hurricane segments, I always had Jay's hat downstairs in the closet in the box.
Right.
So I had C.O. Smooth come over. So when he came over, I had the idea was, yo, Smooth, I'm going to pull out Jay's hat, and I want you to wear it, and we're going to do Down with the King.
Woo.
He was like, bet. So he was the first dude I ever let wear the hat besides myself. So I gave it to C.O. Smooth. He put it on. We started rocking. Boom, 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 boom. So I implicated that into the show.
Nice.
I implicated that into the show. I started repeatedly doing it. And next thing you know, I'm with Jesse. Me and Jesse's talking. Jesse came in as a partner to help me out. Because, you know, I can't do everything.
Right.
And Jesse had the idea, yo, Kane, why don't we just name it Jay's Hat? And I said, yo, that's a good idea. It can be the Hurricane. You inside the Hurricane and it's Jay's Hat. So that's how he came up with the name.
That's dope. That's dope.
By 2016, it'll be on another level.
Dope.
Let's just say it will be on another level by next year, early next year, not late.
Well, there you have it, man. You heard it here first on the Fran Lover Show. My man, DJ Hurricane.
Word.
Much success on Jay's Hat.
Fran Lover.
You know what I mean? I'm always in the building with him in the background somewhere hanging out. He always got everybody through here.
Yep.
Shout out Wifey. Everybody be coming through with the food and all that, keeping everybody happy.
Yep. Fran
That's what
helps
we
out.
do. You know what I'm
Big
saying? Shout out to my man B in the back. And
Killer
that's what
B.
it is. Killer B.
AKA the Funny Man.
And we out, man. Don't forget to follow DJ Hurricane on Instagram, Twitter, on his social media networks.
Right.
Follow Fran Lover. And yo, we check you on the next show. All right?
Word up, yo. 1,000.